first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. The second rule about Fight Club is you do not talk about Fight Club. Okay, let's cut it off. Okay, let's talk about Fight Club. Alright, this is the novel I chose for this literature project, so I was reading it and then I watched the movie because I had never watched the movie before. I got bored for some reason and and then I was like, oh my god, when I actually read the book I was like, holy moly, this is good.
To be honest, I didn't know that it had a book.
Neither did I.
Oh, yeah,
until I found it on the library, and I was like, yo, what?
Yeah, same here.
Oh my god, I have to read this.
Diego came like, look, Fight Club, and I was like, wait, that's a book.
Yeah, Patty had told me. She's the one that told me, and I was like, hey. So, okay.
Yes.
This is a pretty interesting book. It starts with the... it starts already in a pretty tense environment of the narrator because it's narrated in first person. The protagonist is the one narrating all the events and all what is happening, all his thoughts. But this produces a pretty interesting scenario because you get to know you get to know everything that the narrator is thinking, and you get to know how he evolves throughout the story. And okay, from the plot summary, this narrator, he's in the first chapter, he's fighting with someone called Tyler Durden. Someone called Tyler, and then he has a gun to his mouth, and then there's a lot going on, and we're all what is going on?
Wait, it starts with that action in middle.
Yeah, it starts
in Spanish we learned the name for that, but I forgot.
What, the type of narrator or what?
No, the moment when you start in between the action and it's
exactly.
yo, what's happening?
That.
Everything's happening at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't remember. In media res.
Yeah, that one.
In media res.
That's Latin
In
for
media
you.
res. All right. So after that, after we don't know what is going on, then you go backwards. There's a flashback, the main flashback in the story, where he goes to the beginning, where he's just a regular guy with this regular job which he hates, and it happens that he has insomnia. That in the end I realized it's kind of a motive. So I'm gonna explain that later. So there's this he has insomnia, so he tries to go to the doctor, and he tells him, you can't die from insomnia, mate. And he's like, oh my god, I'm suffering. He was like, you want to see suffering? Go to the support groups. Go see testicular cancer. And we're like, oh my god.
That's a group.
Yeah, there's a support group for testicular cancer.
Hi, whatever, and you're like...
Yeah, hey, I don't have nuts. So... so he goes to several support groups, not only testicular cancers. He goes to many support groups that, in the end, it helps him. For some reason, he says that people get to listen to him because they think he's dying. They don't just wait for their turn to speak. They actually listen. And with that, for some reason, he actually feels a connection in these groups and gets kind of addicted, because when he gets to the groups and he gets to cry, he actually caught insomnia. He actually could sleep.
I'm still in testicular cancer. Hi, I don't have cancer, but I want to be friends with all of you.
That you're saying, I feel like it's catharsis.
Catharsis.
We learned in Spanish.
Yeah.
That is the clearing of the
soul through suffering.
So
if
you
catharsis.
cry and suffer for yourself and for other people, in some way you're cleaning yourself.
Yeah, I guess he felt relieved after crying, and because he went to each support group with a different name, and he never told he didn't have this. He went to testicular cancer. He had testicular cancer. He didn't say he had, but he didn't say he didn't have. People just assumed. They just welcomed him.
He was just omitting information.
Yeah, basically, and actually helped him. And until one day, this girl appears called Marla, singer. he actually sees her at testicular cancer, and he's like, what is she?
Why are you here? Are you a man?
Yeah. So actually, he after seeing her in several support groups, just like him, he realized she was also a faker, like they said in the novel, and and the thing is that with her presence, he couldn't like get relieved anymore. He wasn't getting the catharsis. He was stressed all again, and he had insomnia again. So one day he decides to confront her, and he's like, "Hey, let's like this. I need this." And they get it. She's like, "Well, that's your problem. I don't care." And then he's like, "Okay. Let's divide the weeks. Like you go to this certain places these days, and I go to these other places these other days." And that's deal. They arrange their stuff, and they're cool. They exchange numbers, I think, and that's it. That's all we know about Marlon and the narrator, because he never mentions his name. That's like a pretty...
Yeah, his name is just the narrator, actually.
He's the narrator.
The narrator.
And that's pretty interesting, like later in the story, because we start getting mind blown, yeah. So, okay. After that, what happens here? Now we're introducing him to his job, like his regular job, where his boss is like all annoying and stuff, and he doesn't really like the job, and etc. He would do like these business trips, and which he would like say like I wake at this airport, and then I wake up at another airport, and I wake up in this other place, and I don't know what is going on, like all this insomnia, and we get to like he's clearly not stable, like he's pretty unstable mentally, and we get to see that with all the thoughts he describes throughout the story. And also in one business trip, he actually meets, like within quotes, he meets this guy called Tyler.
Oh yeah, Tyler.
So we get introduced to this Tyler. That is this like the cool dude. Like he's like all whatever. He's like free.
Yeah, Brad Pitt.
Yeah, Brad Pitt. Yeah.
Every character of Brad Pitt
exactly.
is like this really cool dude.
This really cool dude. He's awesome.
He's like the hot dude, the charismatic. He's all amazing.
He's a bad guy.
The bad.
I could give you a list, and that's true.
Bad. And then he's like, so he comes back from the business trip, and suddenly his apartment blew up, and we're like, what? The narrator's apartment blew up, so he's like, oh my god, all my furniture, all my stuff, the thing which I pay for because I'm a capitalist, and I live for consuming, and all this regular civilization modern problems, and he's like, oh my god, now everything blew up, and he's like, but he seems pretty calm about it. He doesn't start freaking out. He just like calls Tyler, like, hey, my apartment blew up. Let's have a beer.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So he.
I mean, what else can he do?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was like pretty chill about it, and also there are like some scenes in which the police, they're like asking questions about it. Like, do you know anyone? Do you suspect anyone that who might want to have done this to you or whatever? And then they had concluded that it was like probably a gas leak. Like that's always excuse in US. Like something blows up, like the government blows up like a building. It's like it was a gas leak.
911. Gas leak.
Oh my god.
9/11. It was a gas leak.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, gas leak. It wasn't a plane.
Oh.
All those planes that you see in those videos. No, those were photoshopped.
Yeah. Oh my god. So they go have a beer, and then they're talking about life. All the story, like, it's centered in this like philosophy in which like it's like anarchy in which they criticize all these factors, like basically his life, the narrator's life, like the regular job he doesn't like, the consuming, the routine, and all that let's say that society That's like the critique this Tyler has. So that's like the point of view from Tyler towards society. It's like he's critiquing all that, and he wants to not create chaos, but he wants to liberate all the people.
He sounds like an anarchist.
Yeah, he's an anarchist.
Anarchy.
And that's like actually one of the themes I found for the story. Like I like figured it would be like bureaucracy in anarchy. Why? Because they create this fight club, and they are like basically like a mini society based on anarchy, and it's like pretty ironic. That's also irony right there, because they're like anarchists, but they have like their own government basically. Not a government, but you get the idea. It's like their rules and etc.
The hierarchy, I think it's.
Yeah, hierarchy. No, not exactly. It's more like the fact that there are rules and factors to.
Okay, it's not completely an anarchist society, but it looks like from the outside it could look like an anarchist society.
Yeah, somehow.
So it's an anarchist society, but it has rules to the society person.
Yeah, it's like an anarchist. It's like a society that like goes towards anarchy, like that is seeking anarchy for
like a
the
middle
greater.
point between anarchy and.
No, like they wanna like basically blow everything up and make everything anarchy. Just that in the process they have a society basically. So that's later on the story, because in the point in which they are taking the beers, they finish the beers, and then suddenly Tyler is like there's the famous phrase, "I want you to hit me as hard as you can." And also the narrator.
I imagine the Brad Pitt voice now.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm traumatized with Brad Pitt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And then they start fighting, and then they start doing this regular, and they create Fight Club. The Fight Club, a club in which people would come and they would basically fight two men at a time. Like you have like no names. You're a completely different person. Like just like the support groups. Like it happens that after this, the narrator could sleep again. Like after Fight Club, he felt like basically he was destroyed like physically, but he was mentally calm, and this like
again catharsis.
Exactly.
Catharsis.
Everyone was purified after Fight Club. They were all calm. They were like
masochists.
respecting speed limits. They would fight no one and nothing. They were like pretty chill, and
Masochism, be like.
exactly. And just going back to not drifting too much on the plot per se, and not telling you the whole story. There's another theme I found. Going back to our... No, you know what? Let me explain the plot that it connects in this part. That is that after this Fight Club and stuff, they... Oh my god, my cat. Yeah. So there appears the character Marla again. But now it's said that... Like the narrator finds condoms floating in the bathroom of their house, because now he's living with Tyler, because he lost his apartment, and Tyler was like, hey, you can stay at my house.
Bromance.
No, yeah. Now the narrator finds after some days he finds like condoms floating, like they're described as jellyfish. So that's
Oh my
that's
god,
a metaphor.
jellyfishes! Okay, I have been disturbed of my love for jellyfishes. I love jellyfishes, but I have been disturbed.
Have you ever been stung by a jellyfish?
No, but in general, I love them. They're like beautiful.
Yeah, they're super cute.
They look like wedding dresses.
That's really
Until you're at a beach and suddenly you feel like a zombie just beat your leg.
No, like I adore looking at them, but I don't want one near me.
Yeah. I'm kind of not masochist, because sometimes when there are waves at the beach, I go even though there are jellyfish. So okay, let's not talk about surfing.
That's for another podcast.
Yeah, we can talk about jellyfish and surfing and the beach. So yeah, fun fact: supposedly they met at a beach, Tyler and the narrator. So again, what is going on? What happens is that Marla had called Tyler one day or the narrator, and Tyler picked up the phone, and basically that she was going like to kill herself and stuff, and because she clearly was also mentally unstable. So basically she was crazy. Let's not assume mentally unstable equals crazy, but she was crazy. Okay.
So maybe she had a mental condition, but she also was like crazy.
I think she was more crazy than mentally ill. The narrator was the one that looked more mentally ill, but again, she calls him, and eventually Tyler goes to her apartment and saves her. And then what happens next? They get laid.
Okay.
So yeah, the Tyler and Marla get laid, and Marla has like this antagonist sense in the beginning of the story because she's like preventing the narrator from getting sleep. She's causing him insomnia because she's like going to the same support groups as him, and he's like hating her. And now she gets laid. Oh yeah,
There are so many birds right
yes. And she gets laid with his best friend, and the narrator is clearly angry at this. And then in the morning basically, the narrator is like in the kitchen or doing his stuff, and then Marla shows up and starts like talking to him like all normally, and he's like, "What are you doing at my house?" And then she,
"Why are you doing in my swamp?"
oh my god!
Get out of my swamp!
So yeah, she's so confused, like, "Hey, what the hell is wrong with you?" And then she leaves. She leaves all angry, and the narrator is so confused, like, "Hey, I'm glad she left."
Mm-hmm.
And then Tyler shows up, like, and starts like talking about them, and then he mentions to the narrator, Tyler mentions to the narrator, like, to never talk about him with Marla, and he makes him promise that, and that's like a promise that will have importance later in the story.
Yeah. Definitely will.
No, in the ending is like,
Yeah. So
wonder why.
So with this, I found like a theme of romance, because like romance between the best friend, with the enemy of your best friend. Like it's no wait.
No.
Yeah.
Rephrase that.
Between your best friend and your enemy, right?
Yeah, basically the romance between your best friend and your enemy, because now they're like getting late and you are completely
You're
angry
an
about
outsider.
it. Yeah.
I'm gonna write something with that in mind now. I'm gonna write a story.
Yeah, and again, these like themes, like it appears in certain parts of the story, then it fades away, then it appears again. So it's like it's not like the main view of the. So yeah, and also Fight Club continues. Now suddenly the boss, like the narrator's boss, finds like the rules of Fight Club, because Tyler had told the narrator to make copies of the rules of Fight Club, and the narrator, which was super tired, left the original copy on the copy machine, and then yeah, and then the boss is like, "What is this?" And then the narrator threatens him, and it's like a pretty tense scene. Like that's like a mood throughout the story. Like it's pretty tense and calm at the same time, because that's like all the situations happening to the character, like to the main character. Like his apartment blows up, he can't sleep. Now he meets this guy. Now they're fighting, but his comments are like so numb. They're like really numb. His word choice, like he's like pretty descriptive, like with everything and things that we don't know where it came from. Like he describes like every single thing and what goes through his mind. Also, another thing that, like the verbal irony, like when he says, for example, like I would totally like that, but then he's thinking like, I would never do that. And yeah, that we can see that throughout the story as well. So
sorry, he seems like a stoic.
Stoic.
Yeah. A stoic is a person who can endure pain or hardship without showing their feelings or complaining. So he seems like a stoic. His house blew up, like everything is going down for him, and he's just like, let's have a beer, Tyler.
Yeah, that's like the mood, but like we. What are you doing, cat? Oh my god.
Being a cutie.
Yes. So. Yeah, but in the end, we can also see that it clearly still affects him. He's not completely like indifferent about it. He's getting stressed, just that he doesn't show it. Even in his mind, he doesn't show it, because we're in his mind.
We're in his mind, right? Literally,
exactly.
we're in his mind.
Yeah.
And
we're mind readers.
And yeah, so that's like a pretty unstable mood, because he also makes a lot of flashbacks and reference to Like the story is based on flashbacks. But
I know about flashbacks too.
yeah, for example, the one of the jellyfish, he's like, I found these condoms in the bathroom, and then he explains what that actually happens since the beginning. That also happens in many cases throughout the story, and it's sometimes it can get you off, like you can get kind of lost, but still you can. You eventually go back at it and everything makes sense, and then your mind is blowing again, and it's amazing. It's like the feeling you get from reading this. It's like really, like I would totally recommend it. Oh my god, I forgot, but if for some reason you haven't read or watched Fight Club at this point, stop the podcast.
Yes.
Stop the podcast. Go watch it. Go watch the movie.
From now on, there's only spoilers.
Exactly. From now on, there's like big spoilers.
And there's a huge
it's a big plot twist.
Yes, it's a huge plot twist that both the book and the movie do. So
yeah, exactly.
Like it's the main thing ever. So stop it right now.
Yeah, and we'll talk about foreshadowing later. So stop what you're doing. Go to Google, type Fight Club movie online,
or PDF if you want to read it. Whatever.
Exactly.
Go to your nearest library.
Like it will appear. It has been the easiest movie I have watched like for free on the internet. Like the easiest one to
Is
to
it public?
find.
Is it public domain or isn't?
I don't know.
It's a classic, so it eventually will be.
Be public domain, yeah.
Yeah, in some years, but the point is that I found it and it's easy, and you must find it and you must watch it if you want to continue.
Okay, once again, spoiler alert, and we continue.
If you didn't get it by now, huge spoiler alert.
So yeah, now Tyler decides to in Fight Club. Like now that by this point there are many Fight Clubs all over the place, like all over the U.S., and he decides to start something called Project Mayhem. This is. He basically now he's going more towards the anarchist let's change society point of view, in which he's giving like the members like homeworks, like to go for example, one is go find someone in the street and start a fight, but you have to lose the fight.
What?
Yeah,
well, I didn't remember that.
I don't remember that either.
But that's great.
Yeah, and there are also other things, and the point is that these things start escalating and they start getting big, and now, oh my god, I haven't talked about something. I haven't talked about another motive that has been going on like throughout the story. Soap. That's like.
Yeah,
I was going to mention
soap.
like, why haven't you mentioned?
Yeah,
this?
I was thinking about that
Yeah,
actually.
like where's soap?
It's in the cover of the book.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Diego had always wondered, why is there soap? And now he understands why.
Yeah. So basically, Tyler makes soap and he sells it like to rich people. And how he makes soap? He makes soap with human grease, fat. Yeah, fat. Human fat, which he.
Like the rich get rid of their fat,
Exactly.
but they sell it to him, and they.
No, they don't sell it to him. He steals it from the waste.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So basically, he's getting fat from the rich, and then he's making soap out of it, and then he's selling the soap because it's expensive.
That's
because
such
it's
a
good
Robin
soap.
Hood thing to do.
Exactly, and then he sells it back to the rich, and now they're washing their fat with their fat.
Yeah, totally.
So yeah, that's like a pretty situational irony right there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like pretty interesting. Like it goes on later when when Tyler the first time they're about to make soap. They get rid of Marla, which there's like the foreshadowing for something like Marla and Tyler are never in the same room together.
Yeah.
Like Tyler and Marla,
Tyler, Marla, and the narrator, or
no.
Tyler and Marla.
Tyler and
Okay.
Marla are never in the same room together. Unless they are getting laid. So that's like something interesting within some other factors that I'm gonna talk about later. But like going back to soap, they're making soap, and then there's a famous chemical burn in which he kisses the narrator's hand, and then they Isle, I think it's called. He throws a powder in his mouth and it starts burning.
Oh.
And then when this he starts telling him, don't try to meditate, don't try to think about anything else, focus on the pain, because like this is like the most amazing moment in your life. You're close to hit bottom, like you have to hit bottom in order to find salvation and enlightenment. and
Catharsis
and then-
again.
Yeah, exactly. That's like catharsis. Like would be another not motive. Yeah, it could be a motive.
Yeah,
Yeah, at
motive
this point-
is a repeated. Let me check.
Yeah,
Like
so
a repeated word, or I mean,
It's like-
the
it's
word
like
is
a-
not there, but
and a repeated idea.
a
Throughout
repeated
the story.
idea it is. Yes, I'm gonna
And-
read it right now. Motive is a recurrent word, phrase, image, object, idea, or action in a work of literature.
Yeah. So basically, that's catharsis would be another motive because that's like the whole point of view of Tyler towards society and towards his projects and goals he's reaching. So yeah, that's that chemical burn, which is like an awful burn, like the worst pain he has ever felt. He described it, and yeah, like that happens, and then he's like, yeah, okay, you're a step closer to hitting bottom. And we're all like, what is going on? And then they start making the soap, and which they start selling, like which they keep selling, which that is like their main source of income.
Okay.
You know, and that's like soap, and soap would be like a pretty like also a symbolism like for this catharsis, like we talk about. Because,
Nice.
like, you know,
Yes.
yeah, you're cleaning yourself, you're purifying yourself.
Oh my! I hadn't realized. Like
That's
you're
new.
cleaning yourself.
Yeah, you're cleaning yourself, and that's like
I have to read this book.
Yes, you have to read.
I hope that the listener also is.
Yeah, exactly, and
Are like
Yeah.
getting this idea.
I hope a certain teacher gives it back to me because I was reading in her class. My bad.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, she took it away, and yeah, I had to
Improvise.
improvise and look for a PDF and finish reading.
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Yeah, like eventually she didn't screw me up. I was like,
I got this.
I got this.
And plan B. It's okay.
Like improvised plan B, but it worked. And still, I loved it. I loved the book. Like it's.
Yes.
And what I was talking about, and then with this book, going back to Project Mayhem, like I was before, now they are all like doing all these homeworks and suddenly,
yeah, people around the US are doing.
yeah, exactly.
How does the narrator or whoever is in charge, to say it in some way, give them the homework?
It's like Tyler, the one that is in charge of Fight Club and all this stuff. Like he's all the ones. Like in every Fight Club meeting, he gives like the
rules.
not the rules, like
The
a
homework?
homework for each one. And
Oh, okay.
he also accepts like ideas of homeworks, like of
Yeah,
acts. Like
got
for
it.
example, it's paint a wall with a penis. I mean, I'm joking. Like they're bigger.
They're probably doing that either way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But then Tyler decides which ideas are worth.
Okay.
And eventually he he gives each person homework, and they create this whole movement of anarchists, and now all these people are getting like.
That's like that view of anarchy is actually, I have to say this, that view of anarchy is not the right one. Please do not crack your knuckles, Diego. Anarchy is like this utopian society in which there are no written rules because everybody knows what they have to do,
Yes,
and they live like happily ever after, or that's what's supposed to be. That's why it's an utopia. But anarchy, how we see it now, I mean, if there's any country that goes like, you know what, anarchy, then everybody will die. That's the view of anarchy that we could see today.
Yeah.
Anarchy refers to the state of a society being without authorities or a governing body, and the general confusion and chaos resulting from that condition. It may also refer to a society or group of people, this group of people are anarchists, that totally rejects hierarchy. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's the irony I mentioned earlier because there's like there's Tyler in charge, so
Yeah.
there's technically their society is not an anarchy yet,
Yeah.
but that's like what they're
Yeah.
seeking. And what was I?
Sorry.
Yeah.
I just had to clear
Like
that out.
no, don't worry. Project Mayhem. So they start doing all these big projects, and still Fight Clubs goes on, and there's this turning point in the story in which the Tyler decides to, for some reason, recruit people at their house, and they start like getting candidates and to bring each stuff like soldiers. Like they have to have like black boots, black shirt, white shirt, and like just basic stuff like to live at their house. And they're like they recruit them, and guess what they're doing? They're making soap.
More soap.
They're making more soap.
At Tyler's house.
At Tyler's house, exactly.
Huh.
And that house basically like it's like a headquarters, and that's where the headquarters and a soap factory. Like let's purify the whole society by making soap.
You know, you could have made soap yourself, like the Soap of Fight Club, and like that's your project. You could have made soap.
Oh,
Yeah.
you know, I'm gonna reread the part in which he describes exactly which ingredients he used, and I'm gonna go make soap right now.
And right, you have to write Fight Club on the soap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
That's going to my to-do list. I'm sorry. Let me.
okay, so yes, also in case you didn't know, soap is made by fat.
Yeah.
I think
I have
that.
to get fat.
What?
I have to get fat.
Yeah, that's clearly
And,
a huge challenge for you.
No. I don't have to gain fat. I have to get fat.
To literally get a bag
Exactly.
of fat.
Yeah, exactly.
you know what? You can do? Go to McDonald's.
Oh, okay. Or to maybe no, but that's unsaturated fat or saturated fat.
I have
I don't
no
know, wait,
idea.
Whatever. I'll research that later, and we'll talk about.
We'll talk about soap in another podcast.
Yeah,
That's another part in the to-do list. So, talk about soap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going back at it, so yeah, after he starts this little society inside his house, they're making soap and other stuff. Like they're also making that's where they plan all the Project Mayhem activities.
Okay.
They will, and suddenly one day Tyler decides to disappear.
Poof.
Now the narrator is like, "Hey, where's Tyler?"
And nobody knows, I guess.
And obviously everyone is confused, and
Like Tyler.
Yeah, everyone is confused.
Yeah,
Of course
everyone's
they're
confused for obvious reasons.
everyone is confused, and everyone everyone calls him Sir for some reason. Like to the narrator, they call him Sir. And Sir.
Huh.
Like yeah, sir. Don't worry, sir. Like let me get you the door, sir. And they start being like super,
Polite.
like polite and
Formal?
more like
Respectful.
yeah, really respectful. Like the narrator is really confused, and he also
And
starts.
the reader made.
The reader may also be really confused.
How were you in that moment?
Yeah, I was
Were
like.
you as confused as the narrator?
Yeah, I was like I had no clue what was going on. That's why the plot twist later, like,
It
really
was like,
surprised
It
me.
really hits.
Like for now, I guess you have been like, okay, no, still wait, let's wait. So the narrator goes like throughout the country to all the fight clubs, and still everyone addresses him as Sir, and they because he's asking about Tyler, like. Has anyone seen Tyler? Has anyone known anything about Tyler? Only he gets to this bar in which he asks the bartender or the manager, like, hey, have you seen Tyler? He was like yeah, like, and he was like, hey, you were here last week, and yeah, in case you didn't notice, one day the narrator is trying to sleep and Tyler appears, and they have this conversation. There's Tyler like. Because okay, there's another one, like another factor that adds to foreshadowing. He calls Marla, like he's now realizing what is going on, the narrator, and he's like joining the cables of foreshadowing, like not Marla and Tyler never being in the same room together, like everyone calling him Sir, the guy telling him he was there like last week when he clearly doesn't remember, and. Now he calls Marla and he's like, have we done it? And Marla is like, are you crazy? Like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, oh my god, that could be like for a yes or for a no, so answer me. And then she's like, she keeps like complaining about him being like all weird and stuff, and he's like, oh my god, Marla, and then
Is it a yes or a no?
Yes or no?
no, and then he's like, what's my name? And what's my name? Say my name. And Marla says Tyler Durden, and everyone is like, what? Oh my god.
And then poop hits the fan.
Yeah, and then Tyler shows up like, hey,
Yo.
you broke your promise. You talked to her about me, like you broke your promise. He's like, he's like, screw the promise.
What's going on?
He's like, hey, you dummy, we're the same person. And everyone's
And
like,
That's the plot twist.
Yeah.
They're the same person as two personalities.
yeah, exactly.
Split personality.
Yeah, the narrator has a split personality, and also it's also later said that when he was supposedly sleeping because he didn't have his insomnia anymore, that's where Tyler took charge, and that's where that's when Tyler went to do all the stuff. When Tyler went to all these places in the throughout the U.S. Giving orders to people at Fight Club and Project Mayhem, and yeah, he's like, what is going on? And eventually,
both the reader and the narrator start to understand what the heck was happening throughout the whole book.
It all starts making sense actually. Like
exactly.
Everything's
You start joining
falling
the
into
dots.
place.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, of course, this makes sense. Why didn't I see it before?
That reminds
How
me.
could you?
No. Actually, when I found out that they were like when I was first reading the book, I was told that it was going to be not reading the book, seeing the movie.
Okay.
I was told that something weird was going on and something really strange about the two characters. They were more similar than they look like, and I was like. Same thing, insomnia person. I was like, you're gonna tell me that Tyler is a narrator and has split personality, and then it happened. I was like, no, it can't be.
It's
What?
I forgot the name.
Yeah, I was like joking, like they're the same person. No, they are. What?
Oh. Yeah. Like actually, I didn't catch all the foreshadowing until I like analyzed it well, because the style of writing is kind of confusing because the narrator is talking about everything, because we're in his mind and he's like crazy and he's talking about literally a lot at the same time, and we're not clear. It's not like it is. It can be. It is clear, but it just needs like it needs you to pay attention like closely to the details, because you might. Get lost, which I got lost plenty of times.
Yeah, rereading a work of literature that has such a plot twist, I think in any case you can go backwards and see a lot of foreshadowing that you just missed.
That's the beauty of plot twist books. That's the beauty of it.
Like in the Kite Runner, spoiler alert, when Amir eventually finds out that Baba is also not only his father but the father of Hassan. His best friend. You just go backwards and say like, oh my god,
yeah,
yes,
like when
there's
we
everywhere like foreshadowing, like they
everywhere.
look alike, and Baba always loves Hassan, and there's a lot of things that you take for granted. It's like, yeah, sure, whatever, okay, next page, and it's like, oh
yeah.
ah.
No, actually,
Okay.
when they say when in Kite Runner quickly when they say like Ali's not his father, then who it is? And they continue the page. I was like, wait, but who's his father? I took that moment. They're like,
I was there too, like, wait, but you're not telling me anything, Amir. Why are you panicking?
I was
What
like,
is going on?
No, I was like, wait, Rahim Khan is his father.
Jesus. Now going back to Fight Club. Sorry.
That was a pretty good novel.
Oh, yes, that's definitely a must read and a must reread.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to definitely reread it.
Okay, so coming back to Fight Club.
So going back to Fight Club, yeah, we're going back to Fight Club for a brief moment, because that plot twist and analyzing all the foreshadowing reminded me a lot of the Joker when.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, when I realized that spoiler alert, also for the Joker never got laid with this chick, and he never talked to her. Like he only like talked to her once. Like she was never present when it seemed like she was. But there was more explicit, like for the flashback, where there's this scene in which they recreate all these moments he had with her, but without her. When I saw that, I was like, oh my god! Like I saw that the second time I watched the movie, because
Really?
yeah,
No
I sometimes get distracted.
The moment that you started talking about Fight Club, I was actually typing some stuff and searching for like the pictures of the outfits of the characters in the movie, and it plays like Tyler Durden and I appear Tyler Durden and the Joker, and there are a bunch of theories of Fight Club and the Joker, and I'm gonna read that later. So
Yes,
Oh my God,
definitely.
yes,
please
please.
send it to us too. Because yes, I was going to mention like in the movie, I know that it's different from the book, but it's not that far away from
No,
it.
it's-
So both things. Oh my God, that picture is really great.
I'm putting that as a wallpaper.
Both stories, both films are really like, yeah, you could say like connected in that sense of the theme of appearance versus reality. Like you think that something is going on and
Yes.
the plot is going somewhere, and then you realize that no, it's not. It has never been there. It was
Exactly.
just the other way because. There was no company, there was no second person there was no there was no company in the first
hey,
place.
quickly adding around to the Joker. They're saying that there's a possibility of a flashback that, like, the Fight Club is the prequel to the movies of Batman because the narrator is the Joker. That's a theory that they have, and I'm really confused.
Wait, again, the narrator of the Fight Club is the Joker, so it's Arthur. I don't remember it.
Yeah, but remember there are like 3 Jokers, so he could be any of them.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
okay. But
So-
assuming it's the last one, it's this Joaquin Phoenix, and then there goes like Batman series.
Yeah, I guess you could say so. Like, I'm saying, I want to read that
I
later.
want to read that analysis.
Yeah, same.
Before you start, like there are like also some parallels between the Joker and Tyler, because like the Joker also like one of the stories of the Joker is that he fell into this acid and stuff,
Oh yes.
and that could be like also related to the chemical burn in his
totally.
hand. And yeah, besides all the character development of all like the character development here, like talking about a little bit more about this, like we also see in the beginning like the narrator is like someone super nice, like he's like all nice, and I mean nice between quotes because he's nice and indifferent, and then throughout the story he starts being like more aggressive like in certain parts, like
Joker.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He starts getting aggressive, like,
Yeah, like bite
AKA looking like Tyler. For example, sorry, before
No,
you
it's
start,
fine.
for example, like to back this up, like in the beginning he's like super submissive with Marla, and then throughout the story he's like basically shouting at Marla to get out out of his house, and that's one. Like okay, we're getting pretty long here. Like let's just go on as long as this takes, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so don't worry. No, let's not worry too much about the time. Also, you know what? Going just to go back before getting to a conclusion. Let me talk about some points in which
sure.
I hadn't noted down. Another theme I found would be like fighting our demons. Like it was like pretty obvious because you know.
Yeah.
But still, it's like fighting our demons in the narrator's case, like his job, his house, like his job, his way of life, his way of living, like this, like basically living in a prison, like in these cycles in society and all these routines, like that's what Tyler was fighting, aka that's what the narrator was fighting, just that he didn't know it. That's what he realized later. And also all the people in Fight Club, that's what made them purified after fighting, because they wouldn't be fighting the other person. They would be like they would be fighting basically themselves in some way.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
So deep.
No, but yes,
Yeah, that's so deep.
it definitely is.
You know, when you start seeing Fight Club, you're like, okay, it's gonna be a fighting movie. No, it's about fighting with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes deeper than one could ever think.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Also, what is this? Okay. Another example of now going to another literary device that I forgot is like a flashback and a simile at the same time. This is in the scene in which basically Tyler is telling the narrator to get rid of Marla, and they're like basically exchanging messages, like because not exactly, because Marla is clearly talking to the guy he slept to, just that the guy he slept to doesn't know it, and he's thinking she wants to talk to Tyler. But the point is that the narrator's parents like would also fight. Would be the same thing, basically, the same thing in his point of view. Like they would basically have sex. They would have sex, and then they would be fighting and not speaking to each other, not being even in the same room together. And that's what the narrator says. Like it's like being 6-year-old again, like exchanging messages between these two. And that's like the flashback. And then the simile is like every time Marla stepped in the room, fast as a magic trick, like Tyler would disappear. Like Tyler would literally disappear, and he mentions his parents did this magic
Trick
for years, you know.
Oh.
And yeah, also I talked already about irony, about this flashback, foreshadowing already, and repetition. Like there, we can see like because of his state of mind, he repeats to himself many times, many things. For example, in a sentence, and sometimes it doesn't even make a lot of sense. For example, in a sentence, he literally said to himself, a criminal is a criminal is a criminal, and we're like, eh? Okay, yeah, but in context it makes sense because he's talking about Tyler is talking about it's the same thing. I mean, I think this is also like a like verbal irony in some way because he's saying like it's the same thing if I overpass the speed limit in a highway than if I rob someone or shoot someone. So there's like I think there's irony and what was it called? Maybe a satire. I mean, in some way, but I don't know. Am I wrong? Getting the wrong?
Depends on how you analyze it.
Yeah, well, let's say it's verbal irony. Like, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, but also more about. Also another character interesting to analyze is Marla. Like in the beginning, she, like I mentioned before, she seems like an antagonist, and then she's the lover. She's going back to the end. Going back with the plot, like until the end, like now the character realizes all these bad stuff between quotes that Tyler wants to do and Tyler has been doing, and he wants to turn himself in, and yeah. So basically, this is from the movie, and this is where the movie and the book kind of splits itself. Like,
really?
Yeah, in that scene in particular, in the movie, the narrator goes to the police department and turns himself in, and then the police suddenly they were part of Parade the Mayhem, and they try to cut his nuts because he tries to stop Fight Club, basically. Or no.
Okay.
I don't remember that.
No, yeah, like basically the police try to cut his nuts because if someone like goes against Fight Club, they're gonna cut his nuts. And in the book it's similar, but in the book per se, it's in a Fight Club reunion. It's like in an actual Fight Club. He goes there and he's like, now this guy died, this is over. Like everyone go home, and everyone is like,
no.
Silence. They grab him and they try to cut his nuts.
So it's like ultimately the same thing.
It's the same thing, just that it's not in a police department, and it's not a police. But I guess
there were probably police officers there.
Yeah, exactly. I think there were police officers there, but it was not a police department. That's just one of the differences between, because the movie and the book are pretty similar, are like really similar.
For how you.
That's appreciated.
Yes.
Yes, totally.
Yes. Like my acknowledgements to the director, to everyone, and even to Brad Pitt. He's an amazing actor. And I think that's it. Like because after that, he tries to go and stop some explosions Tyler had planned, and he meets with Tyler again, and then we're back at the first scene of the movie, and of the book, in which they are fighting and holding a gun to each other. And I know that there's like a pretty tense moment in the end. The narrator shoots himself, but he survives. Yeah, he shoots himself, but he survives, and And then the last chapter is funny because he's recovering in the hospital, but he thinks he's in heaven. He's like, God is telling me this stuff, and God is actually the doctor, and all the angels, and Marla with her prayers and stuff, and she's actually just writing letters of, hey, we hope you get better soon, and we want you back, like the Marla and the people in the support group. So yeah, that was Fight Club. I don't know. I didn't love the end, but
you love the plot twist.
Yeah, I love the whole part of the book. Like I really didn't love the end, but yeah, that's me. Because so yeah, that's Fight Club.
In my personal opinion, when I gotta say that maybe the end was the best thing that could happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, like yeah, maybe it was like the best
possible outcome, realistic outcome that could happen. Maybe I'm not sure.
Yeah. So in a realistic point of view, like he shot himself, and I guess he woke up purified of Tyler.
What if he shot himself and he died, but he didn't know?
The thing is that he thought he died, but.
No, but I have a thing with my brother that every time something bad, there's always a point in a movie that you can say it's a coma.
Yeah, you can cut there and say like everything that happens there
is a dream or purgatory.
An illusion, yeah.
And
from the Joker, I was talking with Peter, and he said that from a point on, I don't remember which one. I think it was after Arthur. Sorry. After the Joker finds out that he was adopted or something like that. That he goes to the rehab center, and he finds these documents that from that point on everything
is a dream.
Is just in his head. Like I think in these cases there's pretty much there are multiple scenes when you can cut.
In which you get like some maybe news or reality which like really strikes you so hard that
something happens, like there's a breaking point that I don't know, the character breaks down. In this case,
they fall down a pit.
They what?
They can fall down, like they say that someone falls off a cliff and they open their eyes.
Yeah,
they
or
can be dreaming.
In this case that the narrator shoots himself.
Yeah.
There's always this breaking point. Not always in the movies, but in these cases, like in this really huge plot twist, you can go on and say like, hey,
they died.
This is actually not true.
I've had a lot of childhood stories ruined by my brother because of this. I have to be honest. Like the Little Mermaid, when she gets her legs, no, she's dreaming, she got killed. She died.
Okay.
Ursula actually killed her. That's how my brother managed to destroy most of my childhood stories. But they all make sense actually. Like there's a point that you never know if the author actually did that on purpose.
Like maybe like the thing why I think it is not the case that he died is because they make it seem like the author writes it as he's in heaven. Like the narrator is describing himself like as in heaven and he meeting God and other stuff. But I think that was also the situational irony that he wasn't in heaven. He was actually in the hospital. He was fine.
Yeah, I see your point. I would have to read the book in order to like get my own perspective.
Yeah, same.
But definitely, such a great book.
Yeah, I want to read it again.
Such a great movie, such a great story in general. Like
yeah,
it is filled with how many pages it is? It's like 180.
208.
208.
There, I don't think there are many, or I haven't found many stories less than 300 pages that have this quality.
Like this.
I'm gonna write one.
Deep meaning. This.
I plan to write one now. So
please,
yes.
totally do.
Go for it.
Totally like damn. Yeah, it's like this when you find like a really short song that is like really really full
of meaning. Oh, the kids are not right by the Offsprings.
Yeah, that one, but I'm talking more like also not the lyrical meaning, but the musical, the musical part, like all the short song that is like so versatile and not versatile, but like pretty.
It's great.
Like
It's great.
And
what
it's
is
short,
it's a great,
and
like
you
a
just
really
cry
short
out
song.
because it's so short. I
And
want
it ended
more
too
of this
soon, yeah.
content.
But it's great and has a lot. The way that it's short and has a lot. A lot of weight musically and lyrically. Like that's pretty.
There's so much quality.
It's pretty
in
weird.
such a short quantity of, minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
And that density just makes you want to repeat it and repeat it and repeat it.
Yes. You play,
Yeah.
don't repeat.
So yeah, I would say Fight Club is definitely a read and a reread for those people who have never seen the movie or read the book.
The characters are all like really deep too.
Yes.
They're all really deep characters and in the beginning you're like, oh, there they are, but then you start reading the book and you're like, oh, they're not there. There's actually more to each of them. They have problems, they have ideas.
And that's great about characters. You know,
Yeah.
they have faults. That's one of the main things that authors want to achieve. That a person can identify with the characters that he writes. Because if not, if everything's perfect, then what am I gonna do? Like, what's this? I cannot identify with this. I do not. Maybe sometimes you even say, I do not want to read this because this is so beautiful and great and
Mary
everyone's
Sue.
perfect and
Like
yeah.
there's a when people create like original character, when people create original characters for, let's say that there's a TV show and I make a character for a TV show, but they are not real. There's a term called Mary Sue where the character is too perfect, too good.
Yeah.
They don't have anything bad going on with them, and that's like when the character is like that, when they're like awesome, people tend to like
reject them.
reject
Yeah,
them. Yeah, they have to have something bad going on with them, so you're like, oh, they're human.
Yeah.
Like maybe
There's always a fault, something that goes back with him or her.
maybe something that even something that differentiates them, like something that defines them, like not being so
Yeah.
basic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like projects. Like
Complex characters have problems. That's about it.
And they
Exactly.
are great.
yes, like everyone loves complex characters. Until you get this complex.
Hamlet.
class-
Oh my god.
Oh my
I was
God.
going to cry with Hamlet. I was like, dude, do something. I know
Yeah.
you're complex, but you're such a drama queen. Oh my god.
He was the definition of drama queen.
Yes, totally.
I mean Shakespeare, but yeah.
So yeah.
What I was saying, like, everyone loves like these complex characters, like the Joker and all this stuff, and then they go back to real life, and then they have this the weird kid in the classroom, and they still are back to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
people
you-
are pretty contradict. People tend to contradict themselves.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy.
Yeah, hypocrisy. People are
It could be hypocrisy, or it could be like, I mean, depends on how you see it, because maybe one day you actually wake up and realize, oh my god, I have been such a terrible person towards these people, and they probably, maybe they will eventually go back to their habits, to their bad habits,
Yeah.
or I don't know, bullying. But maybe it's like, I'm really trying, but
Yeah.
I have come, like, I want to study psychology, so I don't judge. I try
Yeah,
to not
exactly.
judge anyone. I try to understand them. So it's pretty hard to judge people by some action that they do without realizing.
I think I tend to not judge of, oh my god, I'm judging you, but like I tend to
making
go,
a criteria.
Yeah,
That's
I
what I
make-
mean with judging.
yeah, I make like criteria about people, but I'm like a strong believer in that people change, that people can change if they want to. So,
Mood.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're talking. Okay.
So, you want to conclude something?
No, I think
Never
we're
talk
done.
about the Fight Club. That's
Oh yeah. Also, don't talk about Fight Club. Nah,
just read
just read.
and watch the Fight Club. That's
Yeah. This is what happens when you talk about Fight Club.
I remember
we
kids.
just broke that rule. I just realized that.
We just broke the rule. We talk about Fight Club now.
Yeah, we broke.
Well, we might as well just delete this. It was an hour of nothing.
Yeah.
We talk about Fight Club. We should cut someone's balls.
Yeah. Oh my god.
You're the only one with balls here, Diego.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, because body.
Yeah, he's castrated too.
Yeah, two.
Damn.
So you're going to be castrated. You know what's coming for you.
Yeah, we're gonna be twinnies.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, let's just stop it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, remember, if you ever feel insomnia, you probably have a double personality.
I don't think that should be the.
That's my theme to all of you.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm tired. Let's stop this. Bye.